What's up, internets? Todd Woodward here, back with more advice on how you can quit your day job and become a full-time musician. Stick around. Stage presence is something that you can not only improve on by way of experience, but also with some general guidelines to follow. Fast track your stage presence by following some simple rules that I'm going to lay out in this video. Here are 8 tips that will help you improve on your stage presence. Number 1, posture. During my band days, a confident stance without trying to look like a guitar hero was foremost in my mind when considering stage presence. These days, my act is seated, but a good posture is equally important. A slumped posture gives off a feeling of being shy or introverted, not confident. The simple act of sticking your chest out, a little lift in your chin can help you physically feel more confident and in control. If any of you have ever done theatre, you will understand that a dress rehearsal, that is a rehearsal with a full costume, makeup and props, helps immensely in feeling more in character. The same goes for your body physically. If you mimic the part more, you'll feel the part more. So try to get into a habit of confidence by owning that space you are in and shining in it, rather than diminishing in it. This does not mean standing there like Freddie Mercury while you're playing an early set at the Pig and Whistle. You know, the occasion must fit the amount of confidence, but you get what I mean. Number 2, don't try to be something you're not. You need to find your own personality on stage. If you're a soloist, there is no one to bounce off, so you need to find out what makes you unique and lean into it. Don't be afraid to say things over the mic in a conversational way. For example, talking about a song that you've just performed or are about to. You know, you could Google information about an artist or a song to find out interesting facts and then mention that over the mic. It's relevant to what you're doing, and the more you do this, the more comfortable you'll become in doing it. Silence can be the worst feeling in between songs, especially if there's no reaction from the audience. So having a few things in your back pocket to say can break that silence. It doesn't have to be funny, it just needs to be interesting. Number 3, include the audience. This is important. You want to show the audience that you appreciate them. There's nothing more ostracizing than appearing like you don't care if you're not engaging with the members of the audience. This can come off as arrogant. They don't realize that you may be just nervous and can't think of anything to say. You need to develop a way of connecting with people during your performance. You could ask over the mic for people to call out requests. I often say something like, please feel free to shout out any requests. If I know them, I'll do them. This at least shows you care if your audience is enjoying the music and gives them more of a chance to enjoy it by playing a song they already like. This can also make you look like a musical genius or a schmuck. You know, if you know a song they call out, it appears you can play anything. If you don't know it and you get a few requests of different songs that are not in your rep, it can make you look like the opposite. So it's a bit of a gamble. People assume that if you're a pro, you can play anything. They simply don't understand what it takes to build a repertoire. So to increase your chances, you could mention the name of an artist of which you have learned songs. Any Van Morrison fans out there? You know, you could also mention a decade or a genre. You know, how about a little something from the 80s? Or I'm feeling a bit of reggae, what do you reckon? You know, this opens you up to a huge range of options. This simple thing gives you a line or two of banter and makes the audience feel like they're involved. Saying nothing, song after song, is going to get you offside with an audience pretty quickly. Sometimes it's not appropriate to say too much. If you can sense that people are happy with the music but their focus is on conversation with their friends, it may suit the vibe not to say much, you know. But try to at least smile and look like you're enjoying the music that you're playing. Every gig is different and you have to be aware of the feeling in the room and adapt to it. You know, of course, I'm thinking of the perspective of a soloist. I'm a soloist, so a band situation may be different, as most bands are hired to promote a more high energy experience. Number 4, don't read into it too much. This depends on your personality. As a general rule, most creative people are a little sensitive to what other people think of them. Yeah, it's true. This is a very natural feeling. We want people to like us, but not everyone will. For the longest time, I'd always seem to notice people in the audience that I feel were not enjoying it. I would imagine they were a great guitarist and they were judging my playing. This would always make me feel nervous and affect my performances because mental energy was being taken away from my priority, which was the performance itself. You know, and then if I spoke to him in the break, I realised they were nothing like I had thought, and I just made it all up in my head. This really is too sensitive, and you can't let yourself fall into that trap. You have to stop worrying about what other people think. Realize that you are performing and they aren't. You are there because you are good enough to be there. So get on with what you're doing and just do it. This can be a hard thing to overcome, and it may just take experience, but the more you're conscious of being confident in your head, the more you will overcome this. The truth is that while you're up there concentrating on every other note you play, others are not viewing you under that kind of microscope. So what if you hit a bum note? Hit it again, call it jazz. Remember, it's not all about you. One way that a newbie will stand out like a sore thumb is if they react to their mistakes. Don't laugh at yourself by bringing any emotion to the mistake. Act like it never happened. Don't react at all and pretend you meant it. Bringing attention to mistakes only emphasizes them. By not reacting, people will only have to assume that you meant to do it. Shit happens. You're going to screw up from time to time. Accept it. Make a mental note of the screw up, and when you get home, fix it so it doesn't happen again. Number 5, record yourself. It's a good idea to occasionally record yourself performing. This can give you an audience point of view of how you appear on stage. Ask a friend to capture some video on their phone and just take a look at where you can improve. Compare yourself to other artists and refine your act. Number 6, don't be negative. If a crowd is not responding, the worst thing you can do is blame them. Is this thing working? Not a good idea, you know. It will immediately make you look arrogant. Try to encourage people to get up and dance, but don't demand it. Don't make fun of anyone in a derogatory way for a quick laugh. You will come off as a jerk. You will inevitably be met with poor audiences. This is something that you need to get used to, because if you're playing pubs, it's a common thing. Remember that it's not your fault. The venue hasn't advertised enough, the pub just isn't that popular, the weather has kept people away. All musicians will go through this. You need to find a way to create a vibe in a positive way. Sometimes it's impossible because there's simply not enough people. This happens more often than you might think. So get used to it. I'm not a rock star. And remain professional. Treat it as a paid rehearsal, because if you're a polished act, you will know that if you are put in front of a decent crowd, you will win them over. It may take a set or two, but they will come around. Just be positive, professional, and give them a bit of energy. If you're enjoying yourself, it'll rub off on the audience, and it's all about context. I know that if I'm put in front of a crowd that wants a good time, I will connect with them with the music that I play. Just remember though, if you're not put in front of an audience, sometimes you have to realize that you just can't polish a turd. That's life for the vast majority of musicians. So just try to connect with the music itself and enjoy it for what it is. Because while there may be only a handful of people watching, the staff and management are watching and listening. And you know, you want them to remember you as a pro, even when it's quiet. Number 7, watch and learn. You can learn a lot from other performers, good or bad. Go along to a few shows of artists similar to you and just watch from an audience point of view. Even if the performer you're watching is no good, at least you can learn what not to do. If the performer is connecting with the audience, watch how they do it. It may be through the clever banter they use or a persona they have developed. Take note of the things they say and how they say them. Take note of what songs are working and how they play them. You can borrow techniques from several different acts and use them in your own. This will mold you into the act you end up being. Try to find your true personality on stage by not copying someone else, but by using the same method, if you like. Number 8, enjoy yourself on stage. What do you expect when you go to a concert? You expect that you're going to have a good time, enjoy some great music with your friends, and be entertained. That's what makes a good night out. Remember that everyone in your audience is there because they want to have a good time. It's the weekend, it's time to socialise, it's time to have a few drinks with your friends and unwind after a long week of working. You are in the entertainment game. If you feel too uptight on stage, and people are going to feel that energy. If you're having a good time, it will permeate through the audience and catch fire. Trust me, there is only one way to be able to inject a fun atmosphere, and that is to be so well rehearsed and confident in your ability that you don't need to think about the chords or solos or vocals, because you can nail them every time. Your gear is working well and your mix is great. This frees up your mind so much that all you need to think about is the audience and how you're connecting with them. This makes a huge difference. This gives you valuable time. If you know what you're doing and supremely confident that you can deliver, you will enjoy the Scheisenhausen out of that gig, and it'll be entertaining. Do your homework, be prepared musically, Practice until you can do it blindfolded, and I guarantee that you will enjoy the fruits of your labour. When a gig goes off, it's a great feeling, not only because you are successful again and again, but there's something very satisfying in having put all that effort into your act and see people having a great time because of it. Plus, you are getting paid to do what you love. Please give this video a like if you got something out of it. Consider subscribing and watching more tips, tricks and advice on how you can become a full-time working musician. If you have anything you'd like to add from your experience that may help someone, please comment. I hope you got something out of this and it helped you improve as a performer. I upload at least twice a week, so hit that bell notification. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.